What's up, everybody? It's week 5. We're just passing the quarter point of the NFL season, and it's Glenn back with Big Jack for another best bets of the NFL weekend video. Jack goes 2-1 last week, only loser being the Bears in a really tight game, a game that easily could have went the other way. Some would say Jack's getting a little sharp here as we pass that quarter point. I go 1-2. We both moved to 5-7 on the season. Not the worst place to be, but obviously we want to get those numbers into the black, out of the red. A nice little 6-0 week for the fade would be great for that cause. Jack, how you feeling heading into week 5?
You said it right there. Not the best spot to be, but you like to think that, as you start to figure out these teams, you get a little bit more confidence in whatever sort of, things that you like to look at. You get some more data points. Hopefully, if you're any good, which who the hell knows if we are, you'd like to think you can kind of get better as the season progresses, find some good edges, things like that. But yeah, we're, 5-7, not the best spot to be. I like 2-1 momentum. I'm happy to lose a pick against the Bears. So, we're 3-0 week away, each of us, from above 500 and really riding some momentum to some good things down the stretch.
The other thing on a quick side note that hurt a little bit about last week, we were 3-0, and I was starting to think that parlay had some possibilities. Obviously, like you said, we're okay with the Bears winning to kill the parlay, kill a little bit of the forward momentum when you make a pick against them, but it's tough to finish last week 3-3 after we started out 3-0.
Exactly.
Anyway, with that being said, let's get into this week's bets. I'll let you take the first pick this week. Where's your head at as we look at week 5?
Right on. Yeah, I'm actually, I was on it last week, those overseas games. I think this one's in London. It's going to be Vikings, Cleveland Browns. I tried my best to just be like, don't get sucked into this one, don't get sucked in, but I don't know. I'm going to try not to overthink it. I'm going to take the Vikings -3.5. They were actually undefeated in these foreign games wherever they had played. I think they were 4-0 before that loss in Ireland, which really felt like a home game for the Steelers. Obviously, the Vikings came on strong down the stretch there, kind of gave themselves a chance in the end. Cleveland Browns turned to Dylan Gabriel. Myles Garrett, I'm sure he'll play. He's got a little bit of a nagging injury, it seems like. Vikings are kind of banged up on the defensive side of the ball. I know Van Ginkel's already been ruled out. They have a couple linemen who are questionable on the offensive side. Maybe that's sort of coming into the number a little bit, but I think Carson Wentz has played pretty well to this point in the offense under Kevin O'Connell. I like them to get it done, and I think it's cute trying to be like, oh, it's a tight number, Cleveland will cover it. I don't know. I just think the Vikings sort of win by at least a touchdown. I'll take them -3.5 in London on Sunday morning.
Jack, it's the right side to be on. Cleveland playing Dylan Gabriel, his first start as an NFL quarterback. That Minnesota defense is tough. Obviously, the Cleveland D is tough too, but I like Carson Wentz's chances against the Dylan Gabriel-led Cleveland unit. I would be on that same side if I was on that game, but I am not. So that's just my 2 cents. My first pick of the week, I'm going to go to Monday Night Football. I can't stay away from this game. I think it's going to be a great game. I'm going to go to the under, though. You look at these two teams, a lot of people's heads go Mahomes versus Trevor Lawrence. I look at this game, and I look at two of the top defenses in the league, in my opinion. I like it to stay under that number 45.5. I could see one of these teams, probably Jacksonville, just based on who they've played so far. I could see Jacksonville being held to like 10 or 13 points, and Kansas City just gets out of there with like a 20-10 win or something like that. I really like them to stay under that total 45.5. That's my first pick of the week.
Love the angle there. I don't think either of us have. I know you flirted with a team over on the Bills a couple weeks ago that actually would have came in. But yeah, over the course of time that we've been doing this for the past, handful of years, whatever it's been, I feel like your track record on those over-unders, I don't know if you've tracked it yourself, but I feel like it's pretty solid. So I think that's a good edge on that game.
There was one season in particular, I want to say it was 2 seasons ago, where my record was not that great overall, but my record on over-unders was like 6-1 or something like that. So yeah, hopefully I could find some of that magic. I need it.
Yeah, kids dialed in. I agree, though. Jacksonville's defense has definitely been one of the surprise things of the early season, especially for me. Everyone knew they were bringing in Liam Cohen, offensive guy. Maybe he'd revitalize that side of the ball, but what they're doing on defensively has been, quite impressive to this point. In Monday night games, I don't know, they just seem to go under, man. So I like that play quite a bit. pick number 2 for me, we'll just keep it rolling with the primetime theme. I'm going to go to the Sunday night game. I'm taking the Bills minus 8.5. I think the Patriots, I was on them last week. That was one of the bigger no sweats I'm sure I'll ever have. They obliterated Carolina after kind of giving it up opening touchdown, and I think they scored 42 unanswered points. I just think the Bills aren't going to mess with this game. They know the Patriots are a little bit improved. Drake May's looking pretty good in that sophomore season. Vrabel's, probably a better coach than what they had last year. They're trending in a better direction in New England, but I think Buffalo is going to remind them why they're the class of the division. I think they're going to kind of put their foot down at home, blow them out of the building, take that 5-0, also undefeated in the division heading into week 6, putting themselves in a real good spot, not only to sort of run away with the division, but based on the way a lot of things have gone in the AFC, start to maybe put some distance between them and the Chasers for that number 1 overall seed.
Jack, second game in a row, I was pretty close to picking, but I'm not on it. I would have been on the same side as you. Third big number in a row for Buffalo. I think double-digit numbers the last 2 weeks. They don't cover versus Miami. Did they cover against New Orleans? I can't remember, but this number obviously comes way back down. Okay, this number comes way back down to 8.5. After New England's big win last week, I see a lot of people just easy thinking that 8.5 is too many points to cover. I like the side you're on, though. If I were picking that game, I'd be on Buffalo as well. My second pick of the week, Indy's been a great story this far into the season. Obviously, it could be a potential bounce back spot, but I think their 3 early wins were against 3 teams that you don't necessarily think the highest of as we move forward in the season. I'm going to go against Indy, and I'm going to pick the Raiders to go to Indianapolis and cover that 7-point spread. Stay within 7 points against the Colts. They seem to get some stuff going on the ground against the Bears last week. Granted, Providence Catholic High School could probably get it going against the Bears on the ground game. So I don't know how much stock you put into it, but it seems like Ashton Jeanty seemed to start finding his stride. I think the easy pick for the public is just looking at this game, thinking the 3-1 Colts are going to run away against the 1-3 Raiders. And I think the Raiders are in a desperate spot. Their coach is 100 years old. He's not in it for a rebuild. So they're trying to win now. I think the Raiders +7 are a dangerous team to win this game outright, but I'm going to go Raiders +7.
Hate it. Shouts out Coach Plants at Providence. Hopefully he's getting it done over there, turning the program back around, back to glory. I've been looking at the Colts as a potential for, I'm still alive in the survivor pool that I do. I've been considering the Colts, but I can't get myself to pull the trigger because I kind of have just a weird feeling it's a game that the Raiders are going to be hanging around and who knows what happens. I do think the Colts are pretty real. I know they just came off that loss to the Rams, but they had that fluky goal line play with the guy just dropping the ball as he's walking into the end zone. Who knows how much of a difference that makes in the grand scheme of things. But yeah, I think the Raiders come out hungry. I just don't see Geno Smith throwing 100 interceptions for the 3rd week in a row, but who knows? He's been horrible this year. So hopefully he has a better game for you. And I do think Genty's getting rolling a little bit, building on that confidence from what he was able to shred the Bears last week. If I was on that game, I think I'd lean into that side as well. My third and final game, it's an ugly one, probably the ugliest game on the board this week, potentially. I'm going back to a team that has burned me. I don't know why I'm going back to them. I'm going to take the Titans +7.5. They're horrible. Don't get me wrong. They have almost no redeeming qualities to this point in the season, but I just don't think the Cardinals are good enough to give anybody 7.5. Their run game is up in the air. Obviously, Connor's done for the year. Trey Benson just went on IR. I don't know what that team looks like as far as Marvin Harrison week to week. Obviously, Kyler Murray is good at times, but I think he's, just a little bit of a too inconsistent to rely on. I don't know. I think it's a lot of points for a team that I don't value that highly. I'm just going to take the Titans +7.5. Hope they can be competitive for the first time all year.
Honestly, Jack, I'd probably be on the other side on that one.
Yeah.
I think the books are begging people to pick that Titans with that 7.5 number. I think a lot of casuals think the Titans might be able to keep it within 7. Tennessee's bad. I mean, like you said, 7.5 points, a lot of points in the league, but I think Cardinals probably cover that number. So we'll see. My final pick of the week. I'm going to the well on a team that I absolutely love. Might be my second team after the Bears at this point. I'm going to Seattle Seahawks -3.5. I think the easy bet is the Bucs keep it within 3. I think a lot of casuals see that. Bucs might win. They're going to keep it within a field goal at worst case scenario. Tampa's banged up right now, man, and Seattle's hot. Seattle's defensive front too is kind of the real deal. I can see them getting after Baker. I'm going to go Seattle minus 3.5. Hopefully I'm not kicking myself, but that's my third pick of the week.
Love that play. I had a sneaking suspicion you would be going to your Seahawks. That game was high on my radar too. If I would say my third favorite game was probably that Vikings play, and Seahawks were next on the list for sure. So I like that one quite a bit.
Is it a good thing that we have a lot of similar thoughts? Is it a bad thing? I don't know. Time will tell. We'll see.
There's a reason it's called the fade, baby.
There's a reason it's called the fade. All right. For everybody at home, a quick recap. I'm on the Seahawks, the Raiders, and the under in the Kansas City-Jacksonville game. Jack is on the Vikings, the Bills, and the Tennessee Titans, all against the spread. If you're new here, like and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications. Jack, any final thoughts?
3-0, 3-0. Hit the parlay for your boy Big Mike over there. And, we get above 500. Keep it rolling the rest of the season.
Hell yeah. All right. Till next time, peace.
Bears.